Brownfield program is administered by the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA. We deal with them out of Region 4 down in Atlanta, Georgia. And a brownfield is either a known or suspected contaminated site. It could be a vacant lot, it could be a series of buildings or one building usually associated with the commercial building or an industrial building. We identified over 175 sites, properties around the city of Hickory and our extraterritorial jurisdiction, the ETJ, as being suspect or known brownfield sites. And the city has a program through our various grants, now leveraged with EPA monies, where we want to clean up these sites, put them back on the tax rolls, create jobs and other opportunities, as well as create opportunities for recreation, conservation, and affordable housing. A municipality will apply to their local EPA region, and when the grants are announced, you basically have a couple months to apply. You'll meet with the EPA on a conference video or phone call. It's a very lengthy and competitive process. You basically have to provide maps, demographic data, population statistics, the number of abandoned buildings that you have, the number of brownfields that you assume you have, and a program that says how you're going to identify them and how much money you need and what your citizen participation plan is going to be. That's huge with the EPA. They really want to involve the public as much as possible in the participatory process. Well, Hickory is going through a transitional phase where we've gone from a manufacturing community to a service-oriented community, just like many other cities and towns have been going through over the past couple decades throughout the country. And we have a number of abandoned buildings that we'd like to get back on the tax rolls, create employment opportunities for, get those people back to work, and aesthetically make the sites more pleasing. Hickory is trying to reinvent itself, and Brownfield's one big piece of that puzzle in order for us to do that. Well, we were very fortunate we're in the southeast region, Region 4, again out of Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a 9-state region, and in the last round of brownfield applications, the EPA received 113 applications, and they only awarded 20 grants, and Hickory won 2 out of those 20 grants. So this is the 4th grant we've won. We've been awarded $800,000 in assessment grants since 2007. We had a grant for $400,000 in 2007 to 2010, and another one, our 3rd and 4th grants, our second round of grants, from 2012 to 2015. Once we make our application, we hire a consultant, we inventory and then prioritize all of our brownfield sites. And as I said, Hickory's got over 150, 160 sites. We narrow them down, and then we talk to the property owners. We do a lot of work through our communications department to get the word out on both radio, television, and print media. And we talk to the property owners and we tell them the benefits of the program and what we can do to help them out and get these buildings back on the tax rolls and create employment opportunities. In Hickory, of the $800,000 in grants we've got over the course of the past 7 years, the grants are known as assessment grants. Basically, there's a Phase 1 ESA, which is environmental assessment, and what we do with that grant is it's basically a paper chase. We do a title search, we check ownership, history of the property, past uses of the property and current uses of the property, and what are the proposed uses of the property. Our consultants and ourselves, professional staff with the City of Hickory Planning Department, look around. We look for staining, we look for above ground storage tanks, we look for underground storage tanks, we look for storage tank vents, we look for chemicals that are still in the building or those type of chemical smells. Buildings like uses as gasoline stations, automotive repair garages, body shops, dry cleaner makes it easy. But again, most of the sites we have in Hickory are dealing with the textile, specifically the hosiery and the furniture industries. So a phase one is basically a paper chase and a history. Once our consultants look at that, they'll make a recommendation as to whether the site's clean, or maybe there's some red flags. Maybe they found a UST, an underground storage tank, or an AST, or above ground storage tank. Maybe they've smelled something or seen a leak or gotten a federal report or a local report that there was a problem, a contaminated spill or something on the site. And then we'll go from there, and then we'll do what's called a phase two. A phase two is much more than a paper chase. It's actually turning of the dirt. We do things like soil boring tests to find out if there's ground soil contamination or if there's groundwater contamination. We'll do vapor intrusion and air quality monitoring on that site. And then a phase two report will be written by our consultants, and then the owner and the city knows exactly what's on that property and what we need to do to either market that site or to remediate that site. But until someone is fully aware and cognizant of what they have, they don't know if the site's going to need remediation or not. In the grand scheme of things, remediation is a very small percentage of the total funding that will be required to get that site back up and marketable. Around the city of Hickory, again, we have a lot of sites, some of what we call our treasured sites. I mean, one is right behind us here, Piedmont Wagon, on the National Register of Historic Places, and well over 100 years old. Other sites we have are the former Moretz Mill building off of Highland Avenue, and Holler Hosiery, which has gone an absolutely wonderful transformation over on Old Lenore Road on the extension near Lenore-Rhine University. There's a number of businesses in there, and they're doing extremely well. The city and EPA couldn't be more proud of these folks that are initiating these efforts.